Here we are, hours after a beautiful and amazing day. And I thought to do a YouTube video, and I started by diving right in and oh sorry, how rude of me. And a friend told me not to be sorry, just to be thankful. So how grateful of you to just listen to what I had to say without even knowing who I basically was. So I came right back to introduce paper, or rather Pepasketches. I'm used to the whole idea of guys calling me paper and others calling me sketches. So either of the two really works for me, and you can go the whole 9 yards and call me Pepasketches, because basically Pepasketches is who I really am and what I really represent. Pepasketches, it's a long story, but to cut it short, is a definition, or rather algorithm, of who and what I really represent. Pepasketches, Pepasketches, Pepasketches. I love Pepasketches because Pepasketches is a human being, a person who comes from death to life. Not those stories of those guys who've gone to hell and then back. I don't know about them. I can talk about them, but I can talk about me. But what is death really? Death is like basically breathing. When you don't really have a life, when your life was based on another person's or another people's perspective, and that is what you thought you were, but you were not living, you were living their lives, not the life that you were destined to be. So this is a human being who comes from naught to one, naught representing zero and one representing actual living. So here comes someone who's been so depressed and is trying to discover who he is. And in the process he realizes that life is not basically about him, it's about many others who have been in the same situation, and they would use his experiences to define their experiences. And when the two sync, when the two experiences sync, it becomes into a whole better illustration of what really their lives are. So what I'm going to do with Pepasketches is introduce a reality or a dynamics, or I don't know what scientists or these other guys call it, but I would call it a dimension of life that basically is what you are supposed to be, other than what you thought you were and what you were living all the while. So I'm going to introduce a dimension of storytelling that is not just basic stories. Not like I'll just come in and present a twerk video. Okay, I'm a guy, I can do a twerk video, but most people come up with YouTube videos and it's twerk, 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 and it's some ass shaking. No, this is not that. This is a totally different dimension where it's not about me, it's about you and I. It's an engagement, it's a conversation, it's a love story. By love story, there are no sensualities into it. I'm sorry to tell you that. Sorry to break, or rather blow down your bubble. It's more of a conversation where you are in it and I am in it, and we are sharing the journey. So when I speak of Pepasketches, I'm talking about the sketches of paper that combines with the sketches. I don't know if that makes any sense, but basically it's paper within the sketches of life. So it's more of a social lifestyle whereby we have paper as the illustrator, where paper means pen and paper. I love pen and paper, sorry to do that right in the middle of it, but I love pen and paper because pen and paper was the rescuer of me. Pen and paper defined who I was, and you'll get that in like my second story or something, second, third or fourth story, where we enter paper and paper illustrates where he comes from and where he's headed. And so paper becomes basically pen and paper, where pen becomes, it's amazing, it's deep. I love it because when pen got onto the finger and paper was present, so the drip of ink from pen onto the lines of paper defined the reality of this human being who had come from total brokenness into a masterpiece. And he poured down every of his emotion, everything he went through, everything he realized in life, he poured it upon the lines of paper. And that is where the total beauty lies, because everything that paper illustrates is not fiction. It's a reality of life. It's a reality of his previous dead life as he comes back to life. And I remember these famous words that came from the great I Am Son, when he said, what does it benefit a man to gain their entire world but to lose his own soul? And I've thought about those lines time and over again, and I realized that maybe, just maybe, and you can correct me on this, maybe when he said lose his own life, it didn't mean physical death. It meant spiritual death, where you've been breathing your entire life but you've not lived any of it. And I'm sure most of you guys have been in this same predicament where you realize you are a walking zombie. That is one of the sickest things that could ever happen to a human being, when you just existing, you're just in motion. Dude, you're in motion. Woman, you're in motion. Child, you didn't even realize why you were born. And how many of us live our entire lives not realizing why we're even born? And we live this entire episode, because it's like a series episode where there is nothing that has been discovered throughout the whole episode. You can imagine sitting down there and you're binging, and the entire episode goes through and your eyes are fixed on it, and you realize, man, I didn't get anything. I didn't understand anything. What was that episode all about? And now translate the same binging episode into your actual life, and you realize you are not real. Where was the reality of your life? For all this period that you've been breathing, you've never lived. And so pen comes to hand, and the drip of her upon the pages of paper brings the realization of the human being, because he comes alive. Upon those lines, he scripts what his intentions have been. He scripts what he has always desired. He scripts what he has always been all along. And now he finds his life unfold right upon the pages of paper. Not as most people would put it, upon, like he finds his life displayed right before him, played right before him. No, his life plays upon the pages of paper, and that is who I have become. Hi, did I say hi? Sorry. Who I have become. That is paper. And you'll ask me, where enters the sketches? Sketches. I love sketches. Because sketches is basically who you are and who I am. And when you and I combine, we are like two frames from totally different backgrounds, and the two become, and they sketch together. Sketch, right? You heard the word sketch. So you are a frame and I am a frame. And basically that's just a sketch, because a piece is not complete until it joins the other piece. And so together we form the sketches of life. And basically this defines their entire human nature, the entire human frame, the entire human existence. It's a piece of broken sketches. Broken. They're all broken. Look at this. Until they join, they don't form nothing. And then they join, and together they come, and they come. And then we have a full tenfold hand that can be broken or redefined to form something totally different. And that is what I've discovered with the sketches. The sketches of life, they form so intricately and so beautifully, and they become into something so amazing that if we join these pieces, we can come up with something so amazing. That is what I've discovered with the sketches. So when we form and combine the sketches of you and the sketches of me, we come up with Pepasketches. So Pepasketches is not entirely about me. It's an amplification of the human society. So Pepasketches, sorry. Pepasketches is basically about the amplification of the reality of life, of the human society, of you and me. So I'm gonna do this in a definition of stories and poems. I just call them spoken words. I don't know if I'm good at spoken word, but I'll present to you what basically I am. So I would ask that be the sketches and let me be the paper, and together let's form the backbone of who we really are. A society that needs growth, a society that needs love,